Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. Okay, there is few changes in course content. Okay, I already upload all of the learning materials inside the learning materials under author. So we already covered introduction and chapter 1, and then we have chapter 2 until chapter 7. So you may download all of the notes from author, and then you can go to course information. Okay, there's a web security course content, so you may take a look at that content. Okay, this is the course content. So it's actually explained in detail from chapter 1 until chapter 7. Okay, you may download it, and then as your guideline. I will upload the specific of allocation time for each of the topic. Okay, let's take a look at chapter 1 and 2. Okay, introduction to internet security and method of confirmation. So this is the content for introduction to internet security. It's not very technical like what we have been discussed in chapter 1 previously. So what is covered in this the introduction to internet security is the evaluation of web application, because this course is mainly to cater or cover on web application or internet application. So basically all of the security issue is all the same, but we are focusing on the web application security right now. The technique of attacking is quite similar. It's quite similar because web technology or web application is being used every day right now. Okay, from your handphone especially. Okay, then we're going to discuss the web security application in the future for chapter 1. Okay, so for those who are BIW student, there is no issue about this. Okay, but as a normal user of the communication devices such as handphone especially, or laptop, everything that you're connected to internet is actually most of the time using a web-based application. For example, if you're using Facebook, or maybe you are using Instagram, once you have a communication between you and server, Instagram server, Facebook server, Twitter, whatever it is, you have a login. So that means you have a verification, so that is considered as a web application. Even though you don't have a login, you process something, for example, and then you waiting for the reply from the server, so that also considered as a web application. So it's actually the difference between the static website. Okay, as you can see, the UTHM website, if you go there, it's actually a hybrid or mix of a static and a dynamic website. So we're going to discuss dynamic website later on. So the static website actually is a static. It's something like, it's like a book. You just display graphic information and that's it. You don't have, it's actually a one-way communication where server try to send information to you. So there is no feedback from you. Once you have a feedback from you, we call it a two-way information flow, or in other words, it's a dynamic web page. Okay, it's a dynamic web page. So the common web application function, as you can see, all of these things, internet banking, Shopee, Lazada, Spotify, when everything that's being based in a web and you have a communication with server, we consider it as a web application. Most of the time nowadays, all of the web application web content is normally a web application. Okay, that is the general information. For a local environment, let's say your SMAP, that is the simple example of common web application. Okay, Author is LMS, the learning management system. So that's considered a web application. Okay, there is some information is actually run or stand alone individually and then connected to a localized server. But now, all of this application is a web-based. So that means you don't have to install any application. As long as you have a web browser, that's it. You can do everything. Before this, what application does is they're using installation and then install that application inside your standalone PC, personal computer, and then you used it. But right now, you only have a web browser and then you type a URL, a web address, or the address of the application, and that's it. It doesn't care about the location, whether it is local area network or internal, or the external. Okay, that's the difference. The internal web application is run inside a local area network, while external inside out or server outside of your local area network, whether it is in cloud, whether it is in wide area network, whatever network that being accessed externally. So what is the benefit of web application? Okay, that HTTP is lightweight and connectionless. So what is the HTTP? HTTP is a protocol that handle the communication of the web. It is resilient in event of communication error. It can be proxied and tunnel over other protocols. So all of this proxy tunneling is actually how the communication established between the client and the server. So please refer to data communication network. What is the term of this, and the 7 OSI layer of the communication. So web browser run on many devices, highly functionality and easy to use. Okay, as long as you have, like I said before, as long as you have a web browser, so you can run all of these application. So many platform and development tools available. Okay, for web student or BIW, maybe they know about the PHP, Apache server. Okay, where we have Ruby and Rails. We have Python. Okay, we have ISP server. So lots of them, and right now it's also a lot of framework for development. So now that's the basic discussion of the evolution of the web application. So right now we want to discuss about the web application security. So breaches are common. Attackers get sensitive data, possibly complete control of back-end system, denial of service of application level. Okay, this is what hackers want to do. The intention of to do. There is two things. We have hackers and crackers. So please find that information. I think fundamentals of security already know about that. What is the hackers and what is the crackers? So hackers normally try to gain access without permission, of course, and then try to gain sensitive data. Maybe your bank account information, your credit card information, your personal information for profiling, infringement, and so on. So somehow, for example, another case of hacking the system is try to take over the ownership of the server. Okay, the ownership of server. Server contain useful and very important information. If you take over the server accessibility and then you take over the ownership, so that means you are a supposed user, so you can do anything to the server and do harm and maybe block, maybe copy, maybe anything that malicious to the server. And then we have a denial of service or DOS, okay, at application level. So one of the thing that people use a denial of service is try to jam out or bottlenecking the traffic by sending a lot of information. We're going to discuss this attack later on. Okay, maybe we can try. It's just a simple of repeating DOS command is already considered as a denial of service. Okay, maybe we can do that on lab. Okay, have you ever heard about what is the difference between the HTTP and HTTPS? Okay, as you can see, this is the example of a secure website, claiming whether it is secure or not is depend on your security mechanism inside the server, or how you defend from attacking from hackers. Okay, this is one of the example. Okay, we have the SSL, the Secure Socket Layer certificate issued by Symantec. So that means the security company, it's not a security jaga tu this is the computer security company, Symantec. Okay, Norton secure website. Okay, this is an example. You may browse. Okay, we may browse how to secure a website. All right. So this is the a report or statistic. Okay, as you can see, this is the attacks. Okay, we're going to discuss, and we have a specific subject or subtopic, especially in SQL injection and cross-site scripting. We're going to use, we're going to try SQL injection and cross-site scripting. As you can see, cross-site scripting consists of like 94% of the attack, and then we have cross-site request forgery, 92%. So please read SQL injection and cross-site scripting before I present it to you. Okay, so broken authentication, broken access control. So that means establishing a connection to a secured location, okay, by illegal accessibility. All right. So information leakage. Okay, try to steal information, okay, from various places in the form of digital. So all of this thing is an attack. Is not an attack. It's actually how the security problem rise in current situation, especially in the web application. So OWASP mobile top 10 risks. Okay, you can read it. We have a weak server side control, insecure data storage. So this is mobile. Okay, the core security problem. Users can submit arbitrary input. So what is an arbitrary input? A suspicious input. We can consider as a suspicious input or a very bad input. So the input will alter the parameters, cookies, HTTP headers, okay, client side controls can be trusted, and developers must assume all input is malicious, okay, and attackers have attack tools like burp. They are not restricted to using browsers. Okay, you may try to look at web attacking tools or web security tools, burp. Okay, you may Google it. So I want to discuss it later. The burp. Okay, what is this? All parameters, cookies, HTTP headers. Do you remember once you log in inside a web application, for example, SMAP online from UTHM? So if you are using in lab, okay, you forgot to log out. So all of these cookies, HTTP headers, to control this situation when it is static. So nobody use the website, let's say 2 minutes or 5 minutes, and then it's automatically log out. So there is some control mechanism. Once you log in, there is a registered cookies inside your web browser. Okay, hopefully you understand what is a cookies. Okay, that cookies is actually a signature or a what we call it some footprint, so that server can trace okay what is done inside the web application. Sorry, it's not web application, inside the web browser. Okay, and then client side controls can't be trusted. Okay, client side control means you as a user, okay, using a web browser accessing information to the server. So server or the server side scripting or programming need to identify that as a malicious. I mean, it's not threatening. It's actually to be aware, so that the client side cannot do any harm to the server. See, developers must assume all inputs in and malicious. So the possible attacks, if they can access the server, so you maybe change the price of an item, for example, modify a session token to enter another user's account. Okay, this session token is actually uniquely belong to a session of a user that log into the web page or the website. Okay, if they can steal this session token, so that means server assume you are the eligible or the right users that access to the web server. So hackers can exploit this and then change. Okay, maybe to grab the information, maybe using purchase, illegal purchase or whatever it is, any harm that hackers can do. And maybe they can remove parameters to exploit logic flaws. So that means any security that available in the server is being bypassed by the hackers. Okay, and we have a SQL injection. Okay, this is a hot topic actually for those who are try to focus on security, because you have a good job prospect, and also security is an ongoing issue. It's never stop. Okay, so try to understand what is the SQL injection. Okay, I believe you already learned subject database and what is the meaning of SQL. SQL is actually a fourth generation language, where it's not a third generation language like C++, or C or Java. So that means you just use words, try to gain information or retrieve information. Okay, we're going to discuss this later on, I guess, on chapter 4. Okay, in chapter 4. And then we have SSL doesn't stop any of this. Okay, SSL is secure socket layer. Somehow it's being bypassed by the attackers. Okay, key problem factors and develop security awareness. Okay, sometimes, okay, you as a developer, okay, if you are doing final year project, okay, you may develop a website, you may then develop application. What you attempt to do is try to fulfill the process of the application, and most of the time security is not being aware by a developer, so you need to address this. Okay, that is why your final year project for web BIW student, okay, there is a mark on the security implementation inside of your web development. Okay, custom development somehow lack of this security awareness. Oh, deceptive simplicity. So easy to make website but hard to secure it. Okay, rapidly evolving threat profile, resource and time constraint, over extended technologies, increasing demands on functionality. Okay, this is the general key problem, or the factors why security sometimes is left behind. But you need to address this when you are a developer. Okay, let's say the simplicity. Okay, if you develop a simple website, a static website, and then someone deface your website, you never expect it. Okay, if your website is not good, have a good hit, okay, maybe you don't care. But when you dah glamour ke dan sebagainya, and people try to access your website and try to do harm and try to get your information, whatever it is, okay, because of that simplicity, you are avoiding security awareness. So the new security parameters, okay, we have edge firewall. It's not enough, keeping the attacker out of critical system. Okay, firewall, why firewall is not enough? Okay, we're going to discuss firewall in chapter 6. In chapter 6, okay, what do you need to understand about firewall is actually we try to filter the addresses, or we try to block the addresses from accessing our network. But you know, hackers, they can use camouflage, manipulating of IP addresses, manipulating of URL, so that they can access, and also if you are using a VPN, okay, using the VPN, you open your network to attackers to gain access to your network. Okay, customers can now send transactions to servers holding private data via the web application. Web application must act as a security barrier. Often it includes components from others like widget. Errors by other companies can compromise your servers. Okay, this is happened when we have this network connection. Okay, it's beyond your expectation actually. If you aware right now, okay, most of the communication is the internetworking. So actually, even now, okay, some people from other networks is connected to my computer, and if they know how to access my personal computer, they can do that. Okay, because of the internet, because of the networking. We are not have a standalone environment right now. those days, maybe a few decades ago, most of the communication is standalone, and then we have this diskette, we have this CD, but right now most of the time all of the data is submitted in cloud. Okay, your assignment also is sending through Author, LMS, so that is in the form of digital. So the new security parameter, we have this XSS. What is XSS? It's a cross-site scripting. Okay, drive by download. Okay, remember that maybe you have email and then you actually have a PDF file. You actually download the JPEG file, a graphic file, and then you click it. Actually, it's a cross-site scripting. Okay, the hidden behind the PDF or any form of file. Okay, email used for password recovery, a compromised email account expose many other services also. So this is a new track. All right, we're going to move to chapter 2.